the Blackwood family history was steeped in darkness. It all began with Alistair Blackwood, Jonathan's great-grandfather. Alistair, a renowned archaeologist, had stumbled upon the hidden tomb of Anubis in the heart of the Egyptian desert. Legend had it that the tomb held a sinister secret, a curse upon any who dared disturb the eternal slumber of the jackal-headed god. Alistair had dismissed the curse as mere superstition, but the curse was real, and it lingered in the shadows, waiting for the opportune moment to strike. Alistair's son, Jonathan's grandfather, was the first to experience the curse's wrath. A series of unexplained accidents and illnesses plagued his life. His demise was sudden and tragic, leaving his family in a state of shock and despair. The curse then passed down to Jonathan's father, casting a long, dark shadow over his life. The Blackwoods, despite the looming darkness, tried to convince themselves that they were not cursed. Jonathan Blackwood, a man of science and logic, scoffed at the tales of his family's curse. He refused to believe in such irrationality. He was a psychiatrist, a man of reason and intellect. The curse, to him, was nothing more than a figment of his ancestors' imaginations. "It's all nonsense," he would declare, his voice firm, his eyes holding an unwavering conviction. "There's no such thing as curses. Our family has just had a string of bad luck, that's all." He clung to his skepticism like a lifeline, using it to rationalize the tragedies that had befallen his family. Jonathan, in his denial, was a sitting duck, an easy target for the curse that was about to tighten its grip. His skepticism was his shield, protecting him from the encroaching darkness. But even the strongest shield can be shattered, and Jonathan's skepticism was about to crumble under the weight of the terrifying truth. Jonathan's world began to unravel in his dreams. Vivid, disturbing dreams that left him drenched in a cold sweat, his heart pounding against his ribs like a frantic drum. At first, they were subtle, fleeting glimpses of a shadowy figure with the head of a jackal. But as the days turned into nights, the dreams grew more intense, more vivid, more terrifying. The whispers started as a low hum in the back of his mind, barely audible, easily dismissed as the byproduct of a tired mind. But they grew louder, more insistent, more menacing. They spoke of ancient rituals, of a forgotten god, of a curse that would haunt his lineage for eternity. His skepticism, once a fortress, began to crumble, replaced by a creeping dread that he couldn't ignore. The line between his dreams and reality blurred, the whispers seeping into his waking hours. He tried to rationalize the dreams, to explain them away as stress-induced hallucinations. The dreams were just the beginning. Anubis's presence became more pronounced, more insidious, worming its way into Jonathan's waking life. Objects moved inexplicably in his peripheral vision. He'd hear his name whispered in an empty room. The air grew heavy, thick, with an unseen menace. He started experiencing bouts of uncharacteristic rage, his temper flaring at the slightest provocation. His patients began to complain of feeling uneasy in his presence, as if an unseen entity cast a long, dark shadow over him. His hands, once steady and sure, now trembled with a nervous energy he couldn't control. Anubis's grip on his mind tightened, twisting his thoughts, warping his perception of reality. Desperate and losing his grip on sanity, Jonathan reached out to Dr. ᴄᴜʀsᴇ, a renowned Egyptologist and his former colleague. Emily, with her sharp intellect, was the only one Jonathan trusted with his terrifying secret. He arrived at her doorstep late one night, his face haggard, his eyes filled with a haunted desperation. Emily saw the genuine terror in his eyes, the raw fear that painted his usually composed features. She agreed to listen, to delve into his family history, to see if there was any truth to the curse that haunted him. Emily, compelled by Jonathan's deteriorating condition, delved into the Blackwood family history. She pored over Alistair's journals, documenting his expedition to the tomb of Anubis. She discovered chilling accounts of the tomb's defenses and intricate curses. They embarked on a journey to Egypt, hoping to break the curse before it consumed Jonathan. The desolate beauty of the Sahara hid a sinister secret. Jonathan grew weaker. tormented by visions of Anubis. Ancient traps lay hidden beneath the shifting sands. After weeks of perilous travel, guided by the cryptic clues scattered throughout Alistair's journals, they finally reached the tomb of Anubis. A sense of foreboding washed over them as they stood before the imposing entrance, the air thick with an unseen menace. The jackal-headed god was waiting. The entrance, a gaping maw of darkness, seemed to beckon them forward, promising answers and a glimmer of hope, yet threatening unimaginable horrors. The air inside the tomb was stale, heavy with the scent of decay, and an underlying current of something ancient and evil. Hieroglyphics, depicting terrifying scenes of Anubis's wrath, adorned the walls, their colors still vibrant despite centuries of entombment. The deeper they ventured into the labyrinthine depths, the more Jonathan felt Anubis's presence grow, his mind bombarded with whispers and visions. He was losing himself, the line between his sanity and the consuming darkness blurring with every step. They finally reached the heart of the tomb, the burial chamber of Anubis. Within the chamber, amidst the oppressive atmosphere and the looming threat of Anubis, they discovered a hidden alcove. Inside, they found a weathered papyrus, its surface covered in faded hieroglyphics. Emily, her knowledge of ancient Egyptian language and rituals proving invaluable, recognized it as a counter-ritual, a desperate attempt to appease the wrath of Anubis and break the curse he had unleashed. The ritual was complex, requiring precise timing and specific offerings. They had to act quickly. Jonathan's condition was deteriorating rapidly, his grip on reality slipping with each passing moment. Anubis's hold on him was strengthening, threatening to drag him into the abyss of madness. Emily, her voice firm despite the fear that tightened her throat, guided Jonathan through the steps, her words a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. Jonathan, his body weakened by the curse, struggled to perform his part, his movements clumsy, his voice a strained whisper. As the final words of the counter-ritual echoed through the chamber, a blinding light erupted from the sarcophagus. The air crackled with raw power, the ground beneath their feet trembling as if the very foundations of the tomb were about to give way. Jonathan cried out, his body racked with pain as Anubis fought with every ounce of his might to maintain his hold. The shadows swirled, coalescing into the menacing form of the jackal-headed god, his eyes burning with rage. Emily, her voice strong and resolute, continued chanting, her words a shield against the encroaching darkness. The light intensified, driving back the shadows, forcing Anubis to recede. The oppressive atmosphere within the chamber lifted, replaced by a sense of peace that Jonathan hadn't felt since the nightmares began. He collapsed to his knees, his body drained, his mind finally quiet. The light slowly faded, revealing the chamber, now still and silent. The sarcophagus lay undisturbed, the menacing presence of Anubis gone. They returned from Egypt, their journey a harrowing tale of survival and a testament to their resilience. Jonathan initially seemed to have recovered. The nightmares ceased, the whispers silenced, the oppressive presence of Anubis lifted. He resumed his work, his mind sharp, his demeanor returning to its former composure. He was grateful for Emily's unwavering support, their shared experience forging a bond of friendship and gratitude that ran deep. But their hope was short-lived. The curse, like a malignant tumor, had burrowed deep, its roots intertwined with Jonathan's very essence. It returned slowly, subtly at first. Fleeting shadows at the edge of his vision, a growing sense of unease, the whispers returning, softer at first, then growing louder, more insistent. His behavior became erratic, his once brilliant mind clouded by a growing darkness he couldn't control. His nights were plagued by terrifying visions, his days consumed by a paranoia he couldn't shake. Anubis was back, his grip on Jonathan's soul stronger than ever.